Hi everyone, this is week 7 of your Advanced Computers 3 course. This week we are going to cover the next 2 chapters in PowerPoint. Week 3 is all about formatting the slides. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to format your PowerPoint to make it more user-friendly. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be talking about in these 2 slide decks, but I'm just going to kind of go through and highlight some of the things that I have personally found more useful. First of all, I want to point out that on a couple of these slides you're going to see pictures like this where it gives a picture of what the button looks like, what we call that button, what the button does, and a keyboard shortcut for that button. So you might want to take a moment to go through the slide deck and pull these particular slides out, maybe do a copy paste of just the tables and put them in a document all by themselves. Maybe save it as a Word doc, maybe print it out. It's a great tool to have. So that's the first thing I wanted to make sure to point out, is to look for these particular slides with these tables and go ahead and keep those for future reference. Now, one of the nice things about this particular tool, which is the font change, is when you click on that arrow, the downward arrow, so that you can change the font, when you're looking at the different fonts, and they give you an example right here, it actually shows you what that font will look like when you put it into your presentation. So it's a little preview, which is very nice. Sometimes you can look at that and, you know, for example, I can see right here the brush script. When I see brush script on my presentation, it's kind of hard to read sometimes. So keep that in mind as well. When you look at that live preview, you want to make sure that it's something that your reader, that the people you're presenting to, can easily see and easily understand. Keep in mind that the audience, are you going to be in a big room, a small room, things like that? Are you just sending it to someone? Because how they actually view the presentation is going to make a difference in what you choose to use in your presentation. Again, you want to make it visually pleasing, but you also want to make it so that they can see it. If somebody cannot see all the detail in a PowerPoint, it's pretty useless. And if you've ever been in a presentation where they've got little tiny pictures or little tiny words and you can't read it, it's very frustrating. So keep that in mind. Then there's also a way to just go through and change all kinds of things about it. Here's another table. This table, what I want to point out to you is the decreased list level and the increased list level. If you've ever put a list in anything, whether it's a Word document, PowerPoint, whatever, and you want to pull something out or push it back in as far as your bullets go, this is a great way to do that. Decreasing the list level and increasing list level. So that's a real important one on this particular chapter. Lots of things about color on this chapter. So, picking styles and then picking the way to color those styles. Again, make sure you're looking at all of those things. So that's chapter 3, all about formatting. Chapter 4 is going to be all about inserting things into slides. So this is where you're going to learn how to do things like inserting pictures, inserting shapes, putting things together, maybe doing a screenshot and popping it in there, putting in symbols, headers, things like that, even word art. I really like this one. I use a lot of insert things in presentations that I create for my other job. One of the things that I do is I present quarterly business reviews to hospitals, and I don't want to put in an entire report into a presentation, but I want them to be able to see, little bits and pieces of it. So I can do a screenshot or create an image of a piece of a report and put it into the PowerPoint. Another thing you can do for those who do want to see all that detail is I can actually put a link that takes me straight to the report. So if maybe I'm doing the report and I'm presenting to a facility, I can actually click the link and it'll take me to the report. So it'll open up the report and we can look at the details. So it's something that takes you actually outside of the presentation, but you're still able to return to your presentation. The other thing, they're going to talk about here is just things like formatting again and that kind of stuff. One thing that we recently did at the company that I worked for is we changed our name. We were bought by another company, so our company name changed. And along with that, we changed all of our slide decks. So all of our PowerPoint slide decks are formatted to meet the new company marketing standards because we want to be consistent. We want to get that new name out there. So, that's another thing to keep in mind as you're going through these two chapters is sometimes you're required to use certain things. If at any time this week you have questions, please reach out and let me know, and have a great week.